Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to change your life, you don't start with what you have. You start with who you are. And if you're not yet the person you need to be, then act like the person you want to become. You see, success doesn't begin when you arrive at the destination. It begins the moment you decide to walk like it, talk like it, work like it. That future version of yourself is not out there somewhere. It's built one day at a time by what you choose to do today. If you want to be disciplined, act with discipline today. If you want to be confident, practice confidence today. If you want to lead, begin leading yourself today. It's not a matter of faking it, it's a matter of forming it. The habits, the character, the mindset, they don't show up all at once. They grow every time you act as if you already own them. Don't wait until you're rich to start managing money wisely. Don't wait until you're a leader to start developing vision. Don't wait until opportunity knocks. Build the house it wants to visit. The person you want to become is already inside you, but it needs your action to come alive. Don't let that version of yourself remain a wish. Breathe life into it by showing up today as though it's already yours. You don't get what you wish for, you get what you prepare for. And preparation means practice. Practice being that person. So stand tall, speak with purpose, move with conviction, think with clarity, work with integrity, not someday. Now, because when you act like the person you want to become, you'll soon find yourself becoming the person you chose to act like. Success isn't something you chase down like a bus you're about to miss. It's something you attract like a magnet by the person you're becoming every single day. Most people think success is about doing more, work more hours, take more risks, make more noise. But success doesn't respond to effort alone, it responds to character. When you develop yourself, when you improve your mindset, when you sharpen your skills, success begins to notice. It starts showing up in conversations, in opportunities, in unexpected places. And why? Because the universe has a funny way of rewarding growth. It doesn't deliver big things to small minds. It looks for someone who's built the capacity to handle more, manage more, and lead more. That's why the best investment is never in a stock, a company, or a product. The best investment is always in yourself, because the person you become determines the level of success you'll sustain. You don't get paid for time. You get paid for the value you bring to time. And you can't bring more value unless you become more valuable. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Read more books. Have deeper conversations. Ask better questions. And stay humble enough to keep learning. You don't become successful, then get disciplined. You get disciplined, and success shows up as a result. It's not about luck. It's not about who you know. It's about what kind of person you're becoming. And when you become the kind of person success is drawn to, you won't have to chase it. It will come looking for you. In a world full of quick fixes and shiny shortcuts, too many people are trying to fake their way forward. They put on the suit, memorize the script, rehearse the handshake, and yet deep down, nothing has changed. They're wearing the costume of success without building the character to match it. Faking it is like painting over rust. It might look good for a moment, but time will tell the truth. Sooner or later, the cracks show. Because faking doesn't create roots. It doesn't develop strength. It doesn't teach you the lessons. It just delays the reality. But forming it, that's different. Forming is about doing the work, quietly, consistently. Honestly, it's not glamorous. It doesn't always get applause. But it builds something real, something that holds when the pressure comes. When you form it, you're not putting on an act. You're building a foundation. People often want to appear confident, so they imitate someone who is. But instead of mimicking confidence, form it. Do the things that confident people do. Take the risk, speak up, stand straight. And even if your voice shakes the first few times, keep going. Because over time, confidence won't be a mask, it'll be a muscle. You want to seem disciplined? Don't pretend to be. Get up early even when no one's watching. Follow through on your promises, especially the ones you make to yourself. That's how you form discipline. One action at a time, not with slogans, with sweat. People say, fake it till you make it. But what they should be saying is, form it till it fits you. Let the identity grow around the habits you practice. Let your mindset catch up with the actions you take. Real change is inside out, not outside in. When you form it, you're not waiting to be discovered. You're developing into someone worth discovering. You're not hoping for a break. You're preparing for the moment when preparation meets opportunity. So forget about faking. It's shallow. It's short-term. And most importantly, it's not necessary. You have everything you need to form the life, the character, the future you desire. Build it with intention. Shape it with effort. Strengthen it with consistency. Because when it's real, you won't have to convince anyone. They'll see it, they'll feel it, and more importantly, you'll know it. Discipline is the foundation. Everything you want to build, whether it's a business, a career, a strong body, a clear mind, or a meaningful life, rests on one thing: discipline. Without it, even the best intentions collapse. With it, even modest plans become powerful. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it, especially when you don't feel like doing it. It's waking up early when the bed feels too warm. It's saying no to the unnecessary so you can say yes to what really matters. It's keeping promises to yourself long after the excitement of setting the goal is worn off. People want the results, but they often don't want the structure. They want success, but they resist the routine that builds it. They want growth, but they won't commit to the grind. Discipline is what bridges the gap between what you want and what you're willing to do. You don't become disciplined by accident. You choose it, and you choose it again and again, day after day. It starts small: making your bed, finishing that book, saying no to one more hour of distraction. These little acts of discipline, repeated, start to shape a person who can handle more pressure, more responsibility, more opportunity. Discipline is quiet. It doesn't shout. It doesn't beg for attention, but it shows up in everything: in how you walk, in how you work, in how you treat others, in how you handle setbacks. It's the inner voice that says, do it anyway. The funny thing is, most people think discipline is about restriction, about limitation. But real discipline is freedom. Freedom from chaos, freedom from regret, freedom from being at the mercy of moods and distractions. Discipline gives you the power to act with intention rather than impulse. It lets you steer the ship instead of getting tossed by the waves. You can have talent, but without discipline, it goes to waste. You can have dreams, but without discipline, they stay stuck in your imagination. It's not the big things done occasionally that shape your life. It's the small things done consistently. So if you want a better life, start by getting serious about your habits. Master your mornings, guard your time, finish what you start, keep your word, train yourself to follow through. And when it gets hard, because it don't you will, get hard. Remember this: the pain of discipline is temporary. The pain of regret lasts a lifetime. Lay the bricks every day. They may look small now, but over time they build a fortress. Because discipline is not just the foundation of success, it's the framework of self-respect. It tells the world, and more importantly yourself, that you're serious about becoming who you were meant to be. Your habits shape your identity. Who you are isn't written in your DNA, it's written in your daily routine. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. Every action you take is a vote for the kind of person you're becoming, and the more often you cast that vote, the more deeply it carves itself into your character. Most people think identity is something you discover, but it's not. It's something you build, brick by brick, day by day, through repetition, through action, through the choices you make when nobody's watching. If you wake up early every day, you're not just getting out of bed, you're becoming someone who values time. If you train your body, you're not just getting stronger, you're becoming someone who takes their health seriously. If you finish what you start, you're not just being productive, you're becoming someone who's dependable. You see, your habits don't just affect your outcomes, they twine your identity. That's why it's not enough to want to change. Wanting is passive, habits are active. The person who wants to be fit but never exercises is just a dreamer. The person who laces up their shoes every morning, even when it's cold, even when it's inconvenient, that's someone who's becoming fit. To buy identity. Identity isn't declared, it's proven through behavior. So the question is not, what do you want? The real question is, what do your habits say you're becoming? Because you can't outdream your daily discipline. You can't outwish your weekend routine. The smallest behaviors repeated over time create the strongest results. They're like drops of water, quiet, almost unnoticeable. But they carve through stone. Now, the good news is this: you don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Change doesn't come from massive leaps. It comes from small shifts, done consistently. Replace 30 minutes of scrolling with 30 minutes of reading. Trade one complaint for one expression of gratitude. Choose to show up 5 minutes early instead of 5 minutes late. These small acts matter more than you think, because each one reinforces a message: this is who I am now, known. And the moment you start acting like the person you want to be consistently, that's the moment you attire that person. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not completely, but undeniably. So take a look at your habits, not just the big ones, the little ones too. They are your sculptor, your teacher, your mirror. If you want to know who you'll be in a year, look at what you're doing today. Identity isn't waiting to be found, it's being formed by the habits you choose, one day at a time. Think like your future self. If you want to change your life, you have to start thinking beyond today. Not just what feels good now, not just what's easy or convenient, but what serves the person you're becoming. That version of you down the road, the wiser one, the stronger one, the more focused one, they already know what needs to be done. Your job is to start thinking like them now. Too many people live only in the moment. They make decisions based on comfort, emotion, or impulse. They trade long-term growth for short-term pleasure. But the future is built by people who can see past today's mood and ask, what will this choice look like in 5 years? Thinking like your future self means asking better questions. Would the person I want to be hit snooze or get up and take charge of the day? Would they waste time arguing over things that don't matter or use their energy to build something worthwhile? Would they keep drifting through life hoping things change or sit down with a plan and get intentional? Your future self isn't a stranger. It's just you, with better habits, better thinking, better priorities. And the beautiful thing is, don't have to wait to meet them. You start becoming them the moment you think like them. It's about making choices that respect your potential, not just your preferences. Choosing water over soda isn't just about today. It's about health down the road. Saying no to distractions and yes to discipline isn't just about productivity now. It's about earning the trust of your future self. People often say, one day I'll change. But if you want to change, that one-day thinking has to become day 1% action. Thinking like someone who's already reached the level you're aiming for. Walk with their posture, speak with their clarity, prioritize like they would. And when you face a tough decision, ask yourself, what would the best version of me do? That question is powerful because it forces you to act with vision, to stop being reactive and start being intentional. And when you consistently act from that place, you're no longer guessing at your future, you're creating content. Think like your future self, because every great life begins with someone who is willing to think beyond the moment and live today like tomorrow mattered. Confidence is built through behavior. It's not gifted, it's not inherited, and it's certainly not something you wait around to feel. Confidence doesn't show up because you wish for it. It shows up because you want to work for it. Because you've done the thing, walked the path, earned the right to stand tall. Too many people think confidence is a personality trait. You have it or you don't. That's not true. Confidence is a one result, not a requirement. It's built the same way anything valuable is built, one brick at a time, one action at a time. You don't become confident by standing in front of the mirror and repeating affirmations all day long. You become confident when you do the work that most won't do, when you show up even when it's uncomfortable, when you keep your word to yourself, especially when no one else is watching. Behavior builds belief. Every time you take action in the face of fear, you tell yourself, I can do hard things. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you send yourself a message, Ichin can be trusted. That's how confidence is formed, not from hype, but from evidence. When you avoid challenge, when you play small, when you break promises to yourself, confidence disappears. Not because you're broken, but because you haven't given yourself a reason to believe. Confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about proving, through behavior, that you can handle imperfect situations. Think about this. The people you admire, the ones who seem so sure of themselves, they weren't born that way. They got there by stepping into discomfort again and again. They tried, they failed, they learned, they kept going. And over time, the fear shrunk and the confidence grew. Not because the world got easier, but because they got stronger. Confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. It walks into the room with calm certainty, not because it knows everything, but because it knows it can figure things out. You want more confidence? Stop waiting for it. Go earn it. Show up. Speak up. Take the first step even when your hands are shaking. And here's the secret. Your confidence doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be real. And real confidence comes from experience, discipline, and the willingness to act, even when you're not sure how it'll turn out. You build confidence by doing the things your weaker self says you can't do. And every time you prove that voice wrong, your confidence gets louder and your doubts get quieter. So don't wait until you feel ready. Start now. Take the step. Keep the promise. Finish the job. Over time, your behavior will build a library of proof. And when the moment comes where you need to believe in yourself, you'll have something far better than hype. You'll have history. You'll have evidence. You'll have Confidence. When change begins internally, not externally, most people are looking for the world to change so they can finally feel better. They wait for circumstances to shift, for other people to act right, for conditions to become perfect. But that's not how real transformation happens. The outside only changes after the inside does. You see, it's easy to point the finger outward. The job, the economy, the family, the weather, the traffic. People have a long list of reasons why they can't grow. But the truth is, as long as you're waiting for the world to improve before you do, you'll be stuck right where you are. Lasting change starts when you take responsibility, not for everything that's happened to you, but for how you choose to respond. That's where your power lives. It's not in controlling what happens around you, it's in mastering what happens within you. You don't get stronger by moving to a calmer sea, you get stronger by learning how to steady the ship in rough water. And that strength is built internally, through discipline, clarity, resilience, and vision. Change doesn't come from a new environment. You can move across the country, start a new job, buy new clothes, even find new people. But if you bring the same mindset, the same habits, the same attitude, you'll recreate the same problems. Why? Because you brought you with you. And until you change attention, nothing else will change. It's not the world that needs to get better, it's your perspective, it's your choices, it's your standard. When you raise those, the world starts to respond differently. People treat you with more respect. Opportunities show up. Why? Because you've changed who you are, and life mirrors that. Internal change is quiet at first. It begins with a decision. I've had enough of living this way. Then it becomes a commitment. I'm going to show up differently even. Nobody notices yet. And if you stay with it, it becomes identity. This is who I am now. That's where the real shift happens. Not when you demand more from the world, but when you expect more from yourself. So instead of saying, and I'll be happier when things get easier, say, I'll be better. And things will get easier because I got better. That's the mindset that wins. That's the attitude that transforms. Not waiting, not hoping, but choosing to go inward, where real change begins. Fix your thoughts. Build your values. Strengthen your mindset. The rest will follow. Because when the inside is solid, the outside eventually aligns. That's how change works. Quiet first, then visible, then undeniable. Live with intention, not by default. Too many people are just drifting through life, not because they don't care, but because they've never taken the time to decide what really matters. They wake up, go through the motions, respond to what shows up, and call it a day. And then they do it all over again. Days turn into weeks, weeks into years, and they look back wondering where the time went. That's what it looks like to live by default. Letting life happen to you instead of deciding what you want life to be. Living with intention means you don't just let the wind blow you wherever it wants. You grab the wheel and steer. You wake up with purpose. You set the tone. You choose your direction. You don't just react to life, you create it. It doesn't mean every hour is scheduled or every minute is controlled. It means you've made a conscious decision about what kind of person you want to become, and you're shaping your days around that vision. You're not letting the noise of the world drown out the voice of your future. When you live with intention, you spend time on things that matter. You stop saying yes to every distraction. You stop giving your best energy to things that won't matter a year from now. You learn to say no to the good so you can say yes to the great. It's easy to be busy. Anybody can fill up a calendar. But being busy is not the same as being effective. A life of intention asks a better question. Austin, am I moving in the direction I truly want to go? If the answer is no, it's time to course correct. People think they need to wait for a big moment to make a change, New Year's, a promotion, a crisis, but intention doesn't wait for permission. It starts now, with what you have, right where you are. Set a vision, not just for your career, but for your relationships, your health, your mindset, your character. Ask yourself daily, is what I'm doing today aligned with the life I say I want? If it isn't, adjust, realign, get back in the driver's seat. Living with intention also means taking responsibility, not blaming, not waiting, not hoping someone else will fix things. It means saying, if it's to be, it's up to me. That's the mindset of a builder, of a leader, of someone who's serious about becoming more than they've been. The truth is, life will pull you in 1,000 directions if you let it. But when you live with intention, you pull yourself towards something that matters, something that lasts. Because at the end of it all, you won't measure your life by how many things you reacted to. You'll measure it by what you chose to pursue. And those who choose well, who live on purpose, They don't just end up somewhere. They end up somewhere meaningful. So don't live on autopilot. Wake up. Pay attention. Decide what matters. And then build your life around that decision. That's what it means to live with intention, and that's where fulfillment begins. Invest in your growth before the reward shows up. That's how it works. You don't harvest before you plant. You don't get interest before you make the deposit. Yet so many people are waiting for life to pay them before they've done the work. They're standing in front of the fireplace saying, "Give me heat, then I'll add wood." But life doesn't operate like that. It rewards the committed, not the curious. If you want the reward, you've got to be willing to pay the price up front. That means doing the work when no one's clapping, showing up when no one's watching, building habits before there's any applause. That's the price of growth. And if you're not willing to pay it, don't expect the payout. People ask, how do I get ahead? The answer is simple. Start growing when no one's asking you to. Build the discipline before it's demanded. Learn the skills before they're needed. Train your mind before the pressure shows up. Because when the opportunity finally knocks, it's too late to get ready. You have to be ready. Success never shows up to the unprepared. It shows up for the person who stayed late, studied when they were tired, worked on themselves while others were scrolling, and chose to do the uncomfortable thing day after day. That's investment. That's growth. And that's what brings the reward. Think about the farmer. He doesn't plant seeds one day and expect crops the next. He plants, waters, waits. He prepares the soil, tends to it, protects it. Why? Because he knows the harvest and see will come, but only if he stays faithful to the process. It's not a question of if, it's a matter of when, 10. That's how you got to treat your own development. Too many are looking for shortcuts. They want the trophy without the training, the title without the trials. But if you skip the growth, the reward won't last. You might get lucky once, but you won't stay successful. Growth is what grounds you. It builds the roots. It strengthens the foundation so when the reward comes, you're able to handle it. Investing in your growth means reading when others are relaxing, practicing when others are procrastinating, saying no to comfort so you can say yes to character. It means working harder on yourself than you do on your job, because you are the engine that drives everything else. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for someone to hand you the opportunity. Start growing now. Develop the habits now. Sharpen the mindset now, because the reward is watching. And when it sees you've done the work, it shows up. Life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you're prepared to receive. So prepare, grow, stretch, improve, and trust that the reward will always find the person who had the patience and the courage to invest before the spotlight ever arrived.